everybody, it's Lori and welcome to the vlog for the week. My theme for the week is going to be kind of a Valentine's Day theme. We're getting close to Valentine's Day. We've got about a week before then. I wanted to pick up a few books that remind me of, you know, love is in the air and Valentine's Day themes, and do a review of all of those for all of you. My first book that I mentioned in my last vlog at the end is Leslie Meier, Valentine's Day Candy Murder. There are two books in here from the Lucy Stone series. I've enjoyed this one in the past, and I wanted to go ahead and pick this up because it has two books in the series, kind of try this out again, see if this is something that I want to continue. It's been probably 10 years since I've read this series, and so I want to see how it's kind of aged, how it's fared, what my thoughts are. I'm at a different stage in my life as to when I was reading this. Could even be 15 years maybe, I don't know. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of go back in time a little bit, reread a couple of books from the series, see what I think, and share my thoughts with you. The next book is The Dead Romantics here. I picked this up from my local library. I have seen some reviews of this in the past. It looked really cute, and I thought there'd be something that would be fun to read as well. It's a romance. We have a ghostwriter here, and apparently she starts to see ghosts. It's supposed to be funny. Again, this one is giving me Finley Donovan vibes. You guys know how well that went last week. I'm not sure. We'll see if this one does any better, but I thought it was cute. It's very, very, very short, it seems like. I thought it might be a fun, cute read for the week, so we'll go ahead and review this one as well. This next one is a romance as well, The Love Hypothesis. This, I think, is a type of fake dating scenario between scientists. The premise sounds kind of cute. We'll see if this is the type of trope that I like or not. I am really trying some romances. I haven't always loved them in the past, so I'm giving this one a try to see what I think. Thought Valentine's Day or around Valentine's Day would be the perfect time to try another one. So let me know in the comment section down below if you've read either one of these. Let me know your thoughts. I'm interested to jump into these this week. And the next one, did I get myself all romance for the week? This could be a long reading week. I'm not really sure. Or short if I decide to DNF some of these, especially the library books. I'm more apt to finish a book that I have purchased. I will be really honest. If I have put forth my hard-earned money on a book, I am more apt to slog through and finish it, but I did not realize this was also a romance. So this is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I believe there are two authors that write together and their names are combined. This is also an enemy to lovers trope. This, oh dear God, help me. It's supposed to be funny, looks cute from the title. We'll see what I think. This could be a disastrous pre-Valentine's Day reading week. I'm not sure, so send up some good thoughts for me that I find a couple of books that I at least enjoy that aren't terrible and I'm ready to throw them across the room. We'll see. And the final one is not romance, thank God, or at least I don't think so from what I've been hearing. Doesn't seem like it. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This one is about two friends over the years that they've known each other since they're kids. They have a chance, it sounds like a chance encounter, and they go into business together. They design a video game together, and they have much success. I thought this sounded really, really good, right up my alley. I do believe that I was seeing a review where the person said they didn't understand or didn't appreciate maybe as much about this book because they weren't into video games as an adult and weren't that interested in the goings-on behind the scenes and, you know, maybe having this type of business or programming and what goes into making a video game. But I happen to really love video games and play them as an adult. So I thought this would be perfect. Sounds really good. I didn't realize how long this is. This is quite dense. I guess the page count isn't that long, and I do enjoy reading longer books. I hope it holds my attention for the entire week. I'm excited for this one, so I may have to slide it in here. Doesn't necessarily fit in with the theme. But like I mentioned in my last vlog, if I order some books from the library that I'm really interested in reading and they come in, I will go ahead and add them to my reading vlog for the week. I don't want to miss out on reading some books that I'm really excited about just because they don't necessarily fit the theme. So we're going to just throw some mood reading books in here and there, send up some good thoughts that this will be a good reading vlog for the week. If nothing else, it'll be amusing to hear my thoughts about these romance. Maybe I'll figure out that romance really isn't the thing for me. Who knows? Who knows what'll happen there? We are headed out as a family to go out to dinner. We never do this. My oldest son reminded me that, you know, life is more than just sitting around and watching YouTube and working and reading. So he has encouraged us to head out. I'll try to get a little bit of footage from our delicious dinner this early evening, and I'll check back with you later. We're on our way to dinner, and the kids are super excited about being in the vlog. Everybody, we're back from dinner. It was excellent. Have to tell you a little bit of a story. My son and I, my oldest son and I, James, we wanted to go to BJ's for their fish and chips. It's so good. I don't think James has ever had it. I have, and it's so good. And of course, you know, we put in our order. They were really busy today. We went around 4 o'clock. Super busy Saturday. So I don't know, they said they had been busy all day long. She came back and said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We've run out of fish and chips. And I was like, what? So we were devastated. We were trying to find something else on the menu. And she came back in a couple of minutes and said, false alarm. We have 2 portions left. That's it. Nobody else gets any for the night. We have enough for you guys. So that was awesome, super awesome. And we were able to enjoy the delicious fish and chips. James brought some home, dropped the kids off. And then Joey and I went out to get some groceries. Good time to go grocery shopping when you're stuffed and just want to sit down and go into a food coma. We basically just got some stuff to drink for the next few days, a couple of things to get us through. And so that was good. We were able to get home. So I'm going to go ahead and start one of my books for the vlog here for the week. Before we left, I asked my youngest son, Trevor, to pick a number 1 through 5. And I had the book stacked for the week. He picked number 4, and that was this book. So we're going to start reading this one. I don't know. I told you guys, I am nervous. I am nervous at my choices for the week. I am hopeful. I'm hopeful that I find some that I enjoy. If not, it'll be a funny, interesting week. So I'll check back in with you when I've read some of the book. Doing a later night check-in. I know it's kind of dark, but I do kind of like to be in the dark. So I wanted to give you an update of the Love Hypothesis here. I am 94 pages into it, and I actually kind of like it. I'm hoping it continues because so far it's pretty cute. This is more of a fake dating trope than anything else. So we have Olive, who's a 3rd-year PhD student, studying pancreatic cancer research. She's trying to find an earlier diagnostic method that's cheaper. Her mother apparently died of pancreatic cancer, and so she is focusing on that as part of her research. She grabs the first person in the hallway that she can find to kiss, who happens to be one of the professors there, Dr. Adam Carlson, to convince her friend that she's not interested in dating somebody that her friend is actually interested in dating. So she's trying to say, it's okay. You know, I went out with him a couple of times. This other guy, Jeremy, I think his name is. And I'm not really that interested in him, but I know that you are. So I want you to be happy and go out with him. Oh, look, by the way, I'm dating Dr. Carlson, or Adam, as she obviously calls him. And so she needs to convince everybody that they are dating. It goes a little bit further than that. It's beneficial for him as well to be dating somebody there, because it looks like other universities are trying to lure him away. And so some of his grant money is being held up in the meantime. So it kind of is a beneficial thing to both of them to pretend like they're dating. It's cute. Their banter back and forth is pretty cute so far. You know, obviously I have quite a bit of the book left to go, but I wanted to check in. Not as bad as I was anticipating, not super cringy. It's cute and I'm enjoying it. So it's a good read so far. I'll check back in with you tomorrow. Hi, everybody. I'm back with my final thoughts on The Love Hypothesis. I did finish this book. I absolutely loved this. And I'm not a huge romance reader, so that should say something. Although maybe if I read a ton of them, it would be kind of a tired trope at this point. Well, it ends up being one of the professors in her program who is known for being a bit of a curmudgeon. He is very difficult. He has failed some students and generally makes their lives miserable, or so they report. So Olive has to deal with all of that from her friends, who are now all of a sudden thinking, why is she dating him? How did they meet? And he actually agrees to go along with the fake dating. I really love this. I gave this a 5-star. And if you're not somebody that dislikes the fake dating trope, I would highly recommend picking up The Love Hypothesis. Loved it. The next book that I've already picked up and started to dive into, actually it's 2 books in one. I'm going to stop at the first book and then I'm going to read something else in between. Another romance. Because that's what we're doing this week, apparently. But I will go ahead and stop in between. This is The Valentine Day Murder. There are 2, like I said, 2 books combined into this one by Leslie Meier. I will say so far, this book, I have noticed, has aged incredibly poorly. The 2 books that were included in this were written 13 years apart. So I want to see the difference. And this series continues to this day. And I have another book in the series that I think was published after the second book. And I do want to see, I'm really hoping that the attitudes of this author, by way of her characters, dramatically changes. If not, I'm not going to be able to continue this series. I was very uncomfortable. I will see if that continues on in the series or if there's other things that are very problematic. If so, I won't be able to continue it. So far, this mystery is pretty good. I haven't, and I've read it before, so it's bad that I don't remember. I mean, I'm remembering some things, but I'm not remembering like who did it. I remembered when I saw the character basically come on stage, so to speak, that she was going to be the murder victim, but it's like I kind of remember why a little bit, but I'm not sure who it was. So that's good. It'll remind me of that. So far, the mystery itself and Lucy Stone as a main character is really good. I like learning about her life and catching up with these characters. So we'll see how it goes. I am about 106 pages in. That's about halfway. Yeah, it's about 230 pages in between the books. So I'm getting close to halfway. I will check in with a reading update potentially later. I might do some reading sprints. So I'll check in with you later to tell you how I'm doing. So I'm in the car. I went to the library to pick up some books. Always an exciting day when there are books at the library. It is gorgeous here today. You can tell like it is super, super sunny out here today, and it's gotta be, oh, it says 43. Feels like warmer because of the sun, so I am absolutely loving it. I wanted to show you what I picked up from the library. First, I got this Loveliest Chocolate Shop in Paris by Jenny. I don't know if you can see it. I gotta put it there. by Jenny Colgan. Is that how you say it? Yeah, I believe so. I think this is on my TBR for next week. Excited about this one. This just came in, so it said that I only had 3 books at the library hold, and when I got there it said I had 4, and I'm like, where the heck is 4th? Just came in. CJ Tudor, The Drift. That's an upcoming TBR. This one I just wanted to read based on some reviews. I believe it isn't this a series. I believe that it is A Curious Beginning, Veronica Speedwell. And then Lessons in Chemistry, Bonnie Garmis. So this is another one that I've been hearing a lot about. Excited for those. Wanted to give you a quick update. I did finish the Leslie Meier Valentine Day Murder, and that was written in 1999. It has aged extremely poorly. I was cringing at certain moments. There was fat phobia, there was homophobia, there were statements that, you know, I was telling my husband, I feel like it's all stereotypical of somebody that has a certain profession or is a mother or, you know, works at a bank or in construction. She very much stereotypes people and then describes them in that way. So I was a little put off by that. I didn't realize, wasn't remembering, at least back from when I read this series in the past. So I was a little put off. I will say I remembered it as we went along, like who the murderer was and things that happened. If this was the first time I was reading this series from this author, I would probably say, okay, I will say as far as a lot of that goes, like the homophobia and fat phobia, wasn't really shared, or at least didn't feel like it was shared by the main character. So it gives me hope that perhaps the author was trying to make a statement, because the main character was against those things. So I'm really kind of hopeful in the future. Like I said, there's a second book in this compilation that I purchased of the 2 for Valentine's Day. I've already started it. It was written 13 years later, so I am really hopeful, fingers crossed, we don't have that type of thing continuing in the books, because I won't be able to continue the series. And I remember loving it in the past. So I'm really hopeful. We'll see, and I will check back in with you as I read more of this book. I think I'm going to continue this one and then move on to the romance. So I'll check back in with you as I continue. Good morning, everybody. I have finished the second book in this compilation. What is this one called? Let's see. The Chocolate Covered Murder. This one was a little bit better. It was written in 2012. So it's still dated for sure. Some of the opinions of the author came through really, really clearly, which were a little bit off-putting, and I'll talk about that for a minute. This was the case of a new chocolatier in town that is seemingly having a great business success, flashing money around town, and has kind of strange chocolates, at least for the town there in the small town in Maine where this takes place. So for example, one of them was, I think it was a beef jerky and potatoes chocolate, which sounded really disgusting to me. There was a lavender chocolate. I know I've seen that done before, but I don't know, beef jerky and potatoes was really not appealing to me at all. But there were some crazy flavors that this chocolatier was doing. They were very expensive. I think they were $5 a piece, $3 to $5 a piece for each piece of chocolate, which is not something I would be doing anytime soon. The owner hired a woman that is really kind of described as promiscuous because of her flaunting her figure and how much she seemed to enjoy the company of men. She loved to flirt with them. So that was a little off-putting, I would say. So that raised my eyebrows a little bit. A couple of murders for 2 people that you wouldn't necessarily associate together. But at the end, it all wrapped up really nicely. I hadn't read this one in the past, so I knew what was going on, or at least I guess kind of what was happening in the background. But I couldn't figure out like how the 2 people necessarily tied together. I figured maybe they figured out what was going on too, and maybe that's why they were murdered. It was an okay case, and I enjoyed that. I always enjoy hearing about Lucy and her family, although the dynamics are a little bit different than I remember. It's definitely a domestic cozy. So she talks about what she's making for dinner and she sweeps the floor and cleans the kitchen and throws a load of laundry and that kind of thing. So it's definitely a domestic style, if I was to put a, you know, a term on it. The things that I don't really like is it feels like the author is really putting her own, I don't know if you want to call it morality or her feelings on certain topics into the books, which make me a little bit uncomfortable. So this one, it seemed like she really came across as the author being extremely sexually repressed. I don't know. Just some of the comments that she made. She seems overall kind of repressed. And fat phobic diets seem to be a big thing, especially for this particular book. Our main character, Lucy, goes on a diet when her jeans don't fit her particularly well. There are some characters that make comments when she says that, like, well, it's about time. It's like, that's your friend. That's not very nice. That's not a great friend for saying that. And then instead of talking about healthy options, one of the friends, you know, talks about how she does things where she only drinks black coffee and red wine. And so that seems like a really healthy diet to subsist on. I don't know. Like I said, this series hasn't aged well. But I like it because of the themes related to the different holidays. I'm hoping that we grow and develop as the books go on and the author hopefully learns and grows as a person. What is the phrase? When we know better, we do better, or at least we should. Let's put it that way. Overall, I would give it a 3. This was better than the last one. I do have another one that I've already purchased. I've had for quite a while in my collection, actually a couple of years, I think. And it's set around this time frame. So I will read that one. And I think I have one slotted in for an upcoming TBR for a holiday. Just because, like I said, they're convenient to have for the holidays and read them around those times. But I think I'm going to get it from the library and go from there. So the next book I'm going to go ahead and pick up is The Dead Romantics here. Let's see if we can get some of the shine from the windows. It is pouring on and off here today. It is cold, wet, and raining. I'm telling you, if it was cold enough to have snow, we would have quite a bit of snow piled up. As it is right now, all the snow is gone. So perfect day to kind of stay in, cuddle up with a good book. I will be doing so later this evening. I'll see if I do some reading sprints. We'll just see. Sometimes it's just like, you know, you're done with work and it's like, oh, my makeup is off and all of that. It's like, I don't know if I want to go do some reading sprints on camera. And you saw previously in this video, I do like to sit in kind of a darkened room, so that always is great, photogenic for the camera. But anyway, we will pick this up later today. I'm interested to see how I feel about this. I've seen other people talk about it, so I'm gonna go ahead and give this a try, see what I think, and I'll be checking back in. Here to close out the vlog for the week. I have 2 books to discuss. I want to ask, if I show you 2 books, which do you think I rated a 5-star and which do you think I DNF'd? As you know, I've been reading The Dead Romantics here, so that's our first choice. And the second choice is Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. Which one do you think? Because I will say that if I had asked myself this question, or somebody had asked me that at the beginning of the week, I would have been wrong. I will tell you. So let's talk about The Dead Romantics first, since that's where I left off with you all. This is the story of Florence Day. She doesn't go by a nickname, which is interesting. Florence Day, who is a ghostwriter. She's struggling to finish the final book in her contract. She was contracted, I think it was 4 books. that she needed to finish as a ghostwriter for this particular author. She's struggling. She's not really feeling in the romantic mood and just doesn't really believe in love at this point. And so she is struggling. She's trying to get an extension on her deadline, and the editor is not giving it to her. So she's really struggling with that. And in the midst of all that, she has a crisis at home to her hometown, which she hasn't been back to in years, ever since she moved. I think she moved out at the end of high school. She hasn't been back since, after an incident where she helped a ghost solve his own murder. And of course, it was a headline in the newspaper, and the kids are cruel. You know, that's what happens, unfortunately, a lot of times. And in this case, they definitely were. And she never lived it down. And so she doesn't feel embraced by the town, even though her family is well known there. Her family runs the funeral home. Her father is the undertaker. And he, along with Florence, they both can see and talk to ghosts. Nobody else in the family has that ability, but both of them have that ability. She has not really embraced it since moving away out of her small town and moving to New York. She wanted to leave all of that, her family, the town, that gift, which she doesn't think of it as a gift, obviously, thinks of it as a curse, all of that left behind in her hometown. So because of this event, she is pulled back into her hometown and reconnects with her family, the people in the town, and she starts to believe in love again. So this book, I will say, this was my 5-star. I loved it. It was sweet. It was heartwarming. There were so many beautiful moments in here with the family, people that she was reconnecting with, her love interest. I just loved this book. I'm so glad that I added it to my TBR for the week. Perfect for a pre-Valentine's Day read. I highly recommend picking this one up. As you guys know, I was worried about all of the romance that I had slotted into this week, and I shouldn't have been, because the 2 romance that I read were both 5 stars. So definitely good. 2 thumbs up, the whole shebang. Highly recommend picking this one up if you haven't already. And so that leaves us with my DNF for the week, which I am shocked about, I have to say. And I fought for a while before deciding that this is not the right time in my life for me to read this. I'm not saying it's a bad book. It's not. And I'm not saying I will never read this book. I just think at this point, I need to put it down and move on to some other selections. We have Sadie and Sam in here, who meet as children when they are both at the hospital. So Sam was in a terrible car accident, and had a very bad injury to his foot. Sadie was there visiting her sister along with her family in the hospital, because her sister was battling childhood leukemia, and so they met in the game room there. Sadie strikes up a conversation with him and comes to find out afterwards that she is the only person that he has spoken to since the accident, and which had been a while. I don't know. I mean, 6 weeks, something like that comes to mind. I'm not sure if that's the exact number, but he hasn't spoken since the accident. And so the nurses encourage her mother to bring her back to continue to try to talk to Sam. They feel like it'll be good for his recovery. And the 2 of them form a friendship until they have a falling out sometime later, and they lose track of one another. They go their separate ways and don't see one another until a fateful day in the New York subway system, where Sam sees Sadie, yells to her in childhood code that children of that generation would understand from a video game, and she turns around and sparks their friendship once again. They combine their love of video games and write a video game together, which sees them much success. And there goes their lives kind of intertwining together over the course of years. I didn't realize how long spanning this book would be. I thought it would be, because I've heard people talk about those things. I figured the book itself would be developing all of those things up until that point, and that would be kind of their happy ending together, building this game, having this great success from their friendship that was forged so many years prior. but it continues even after that point. And there were a couple of events that had happened that I was like, I don't know. A couple of things that happened that I don't think would bother most readers, but for me, it was just so depressing that I just thought, okay, I need a break from this. The book itself, it speaks to friendship. It really does, and the power of friendship. And I can see that is being an overarching theme throughout this book. Perhaps I'm giving up on it too early, but at this point, I think for my own mental health, it's probably best to put it aside for now. Let me know in the comment section down below if you've read the book, if you've read this book, and if it dramatically shifts after a certain point. I am so disappointed that this isn't something that I want to continue at this point. I thought it would be perfect for me, being somebody that really does love video games and has played them all growing up. I was born close to the same time as the characters in this book, so a lot of the video games that they were talking about and some of the other things in society that they were mentioning really made sense to me and struck home to me. So I thought I would really love this. Just wasn't something that I felt was hitting the right notes with me at this moment. So apparently I'm more in the lighter-hearted romantic mood and not ready to tackle a book like this at this point. But the writing is beautiful. The friendships are beautiful in here. I still would highly recommend that you give this a try, see what you think. It's gotten such high reviews. Like I said, I am so bummed out that I'm going to set this aside for now, but hopefully I'll be in the mood and can pick this up again in the future. So that will do it for my romance vlog of the week. 2 surprises, absolute shockers that I loved. 2 of the romance books that I chose for the week, The Love Hypothesis and The Dead Romantics. Definitely highly recommend you pick those up. I'm going to continue with the Valentine's Day-ish theme by picking up words in the title that can be associated with Valentine's Day. I am also going to attempt to move The Unhoneymooners, which I did not finish this week, to next week, but I do want to read, there's a couple other books that I want to read first, so I'll see, especially since I own that one and can read it at another time. You'll see my final vlog for the month will be kind of a catch-up type of vlog where I'm catching up on some books that are either holds from the library or things that I didn't finish that I really wanted to read this month, or just mood reading. So I think that'll be a perfect opportunity for me to slot that in if I don't get it finished. I look forward to still reading that one, especially because of the success of the romance books this week, which totally blew my mind. So thank you so much for watching this romance vlog for the week, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.